Peace, family. One time for the one time, Sunny Handsome. I didn't think I was gonna be able to get a video in a class in, but I ain't got to go to work till 10 o'clock. So I was watching Dane Callaway. Shout out to Dane Callaway. You know, I've definitely been a student of yours for quite some time. You know, and this is how the American Negro Indians were replaced by the Native Americans during the 19th century. I already posted it on Facebook, and I'm going to post this live on all my platforms. I don't know how far I can get into this because it's 20-something minutes, but you know, you can find Dan Callaway on YouTube. He's definitely got a big platform, and great food, you know, for today. And I remember where I came from. And I don't ever want to go back that way. So peace, love, and light. Let's get some of this how American Negro Indians were replaced by Native Americans.
All of my exclusive content not featured here on my channel. Log on to my website at I'mJustHereToMakeYouThink.com/films.
A lot of people don't know that.
Over a period of time, our people can recall being classified and reclassified by the federal government as particular titles or labels inside of their census-taking process every 10 years. And with that comes political judgment, where our people are referred to by whatever name is chosen by the government through its laws, policies, and even its media. And over the course of this government's lifespan, the indigenous Niji were referred to by the government as Indian, Wild Indian, Urban Indian, Negro Indian, and then Negro, Colored, Afro-Indian, Ameri-Indian, Afro-American, American Indian, and then Black, and now African American or Black American. And here's the problem with that.
Stop, man.
Ever since we can recall records being recorded during the existence of this government, the Niji has always been referred to as whatever name the government chooses to refer to them as. So why are we the only race of people that continues to allow strangers to dictate what we should be called as a people?
Know thyself. Nobody can tell you.
Why are we continuously allowing strangers to have the right to call us by names that we have historically never referred to ourselves as? See, this leaves the door wide open for multiple manipulative attacks of confusion.
Outside the box.
And what is also important to note here is that the term Native American was later used by the U.S. Census to refer to a group of people that was originally called Indians by this government, allegedly. Which means that there are now separate terms for a group of people that were once all referred to as Indians.
All of us.
Listen closely.
Look at that.
According to the 1828 Webster's English Language Dictionary, the term Indian is defined as a general name of any native of the Indies, as in East Indian or West Indian. It is particularly applied to any native of the American continent. And in this same English language dictionary of 1828, it defines the noun American as a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. This means that the copper-colored races, or the Aboriginal Nijis of Turtle Island, who are now being misclassified as Black, are the original inhabitants of America.
Look at
But
that.
since small to large migrations of foreigners from other continents became a
Y'all see
viral
that?
trend during the early
cheekbones?
1800s, the identities of the Niji were replaced by incoming foreigners. And then everyone residing in America was later referred to as Native Americans. But how is it that all of a sudden, a group of people that were not genetically nor historically associated with the term Indian in its entirety are now somehow referred to as Native Americans as their classification of race by the U.S. Census?
Census, like I keep saying. That's why I ain't filling out no fucking census. Where did the term...
During the early to mid 1800s, the offsprings of previous foreigners of European descent that migrated to North America prior to this great migrational period were threatened by the increase of even more foreigners being welcomed as citizens of America. These people were referred to as nativists, which carried a lifestyle of prejudice and bigotry, racial discrimination, radical political views, and biased religious beliefs. As more immigrants flocked to North American shores, migrating to cities and towns all across the East Coast, the nativist beliefs turned deadly by causing riots to arise and attempts to greet the newly incoming foreigners with resistance. For example, in July of 1844, it was said that a riot took place in the city of Philadelphia, where a large group of nativists burned down 2 Catholic churches and a Catholic school, killing 20 or so people in the process.
Anyone?
Now, I'm sure many of you can recall some major events that occurred during the same time period, like the Indian Removal Act of 1830, for example, where President Andrew Jackson forced Indians living all throughout the East Coast of America to migrate to lands west of the Mississippi River, right? Keep that in mind. Now, in the latter part of the year 1849, a politician by the name of Charles B. Allen created the Order of the Star-Spangled Banner in the state of New York, which was a secret society formed in order to stand against the immigration of incoming foreigners of British, Irish, German, Japanese, and Chinese descent to the United States, and anybody else who practiced Catholicism as their religious choice. In order to join this society, the individual is required to be a Protestant of at least 21 years of age and must uncritically obey all orders and political policies established under the oath of this society. Nativists of this secret society would sometimes wear faux Indian outfits and refer to their leaders as chiefs or sachems, marking the original inhabitants of this land. Their flag stated the message, "Native Americans, beware of foreign influence." 4 years later, during the year 1853, the nativists of the OSSB formed a political party called the Native American Party, with James W. Barker leading the charge.
Oh shit, I know Barker.
This political party's name was later changed a few times, in which I'll go over that in a second. But I wanted to point out that this was reportedly the very first time in America's history of the utilization of the term Native American. And by the religious beliefs, traditional practices, and radical political views of this organization, we can easily determine that the word native carried a totally different meaning during this time period. The more commonly known explanation of the term native is a person born in any place, whether country, city, or town. So if you are born in one place, no matter if your parents were originally born there or not, you are then called a native, no matter your historic genetic origins. However, the etymology of the word bears a totally different meaning than one may assume.
Wordplay.
It states that the term native is defined as a person born in bondage, one born a serf or villain. A serf is an agricultural laborer bound under the feudal system to work on his lord's estate.
And the Slavs.
And a villain is a feudal tenant, entirely subject to a lord or manor to whom he pays dues and serves in return for land.
Wow.
So, in other words, the general use of the word native referred to individuals who were literally employees, or rather peasants or laborers or servants or slaves to some form of foreign dictatorship, working to pay off their dues in hopes of being granted land in return. Doesn't this sound all too familiar? And why would the term Native American be associated with pale-complexioned foreigners if American history exclusively labels the descendants of so-called black people as the slaves of the slave trade era?
That's crazy.
And we know that this secret society was not established with the Aboriginal Neeji's interests in mind, because our ancestors did not represent nor support the same beliefs, traditions, and or policies of this secret society, due to the simple fact that our ancestors were not Protestants nor Catholics during this said time period. So, could this be the reason why they decided to call their political party the Native American Party? By standing against their oppressors in hopes of reconciliation, political recognition, economic assistance, and land allotments? Land allotments? Land allotments?
Wow. That is powerful. All right. Y'all got to get that on your own, because I got to get ready to get out of here. And, go to do my indenture for a little while. So please, love and light. I hope you have a great day. I hope you understand who we are and what's really happening among us throughout this whole corporation and the corporate takeover, whatever you want to call it, man. All right. So stay balanced. Know thyself.